Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and I'm excited to bring you this video. It feels like I've not done a Kansas Jayhawks basketball pregame video in what seems like in forever, although it has only really been about a week. The Jayhawks obviously go into Kansas City, Missouri, the T-Mobile Center. They welcome the Missouri Tigers all the way from Columbia, Missouri. And did we send them scampering? We dominated, decimated, whatever word you want to use, on just absolutely sending a message to the Missouri Tigers fans saying, hey, we got the best of you this year. We defeated them 80-60 and sent them packing. So they get a good amount of time off, and I think that's significant. It gives them time, and when I say them, the Kansas Jayhawks team, really time to recover, really time to kind of get off their feet. They've gone through a stretch of games. I mean, you got to think, they were in Vegas, they played 3 consecutive days, and they're playing a ton of games really in a tight space. So now kind of getting a little bit of a break will allow them to maybe decompress a little bit, give a player like Darren Peterson time to really rest up the injury and get him fully healthy and maybe see him really kind of shine in this basketball game that is going to be pretty impressive. You know, we talk about there's teams out there that don't really schedule tough opponents. And again, I'm not just specifically taking a shot at Missouri because it's just so easy, but the Missouri Tigers really don't anticipate scheduling tough opponents every year. And it's something their head coach talked about because he's like, we have such a tough road when it comes to the SEC play. And so he's like, we really typically like to schedule lesser opponents in the non-con as we prepare for the SEC. That'll set us up pretty nicely as we get to March. Well, Kansas, on the other hand, has been the complete opposite. This year, it feels like every team they're playing is at a top of something. Either they're in the top 25, they're one of the best top shooting teams in the college basketball, they're one of the top defending teams in all of college basketball. It's just something that they're really, really good at. I mean, they played UConn, who really came in and sent a message by winning inside Allen Fieldhouse. It just was one after another. They've played just really significant opponents this year, and this is one that you're going to see on the road in Raleigh, North Carolina, the NC State Wolfpack. And again, this is a non-conference encounter that typically a lot of teams don't get to see this early on in college basketball. So it's going to be intriguing to really see these two teams go at it. Historically, KU leads the all-time series in a decisive one with only one Wolfpack win dating back to 1958. Since the Jayhawks have reeled off a string of victories in most of their meetings, really the last one that comes to mind was very recent. It was December 14th, 2024, which was the last time these two teams met, was when Kansas secured a convincing 75-60 home win behind a strong performance from Zeke Mayo and Hunter Dickinson. So really, that was actually just last year. I mean, so these two teams have met, and now we have to go on the road. This team, I feel like, has improved a little bit, so they're going to be a little bit more of a challenge, and they offer really kind of a different perspective of how they play. So we're going to jump into that. Obviously, we know current form and strengths for the Kansas Jayhawks. They're balanced, they're efficient, their offense really funnels through Darren Peterson. If he's not available, which I anticipate he will be for sure, but if he's not available, we know how this offense really kind of is structured. They like to work it to Flory Badunga. They like to work it to Trey White. They really like to feed off of Melvin Council as he drives to the basket, gets to the free throw line. They're not the most efficient three-point shooting team by no means. They can knock down a few when they need to. You know, you've seen Jamari McDowell. You've seen Elmarco Jackson. You've seen some guys kind of hit the three ball when they really need to. Trey White is another one. But for the most part, this team has kind of cohesively come together, learned to play as a unit, and has played pretty well for the most part without having the number one basketball player in college basketball. He was welcome back. He didn't play the entire game against Missouri. he had a silent 17 points, ladies and gentlemen. He played really just the first half, maybe a little tiny bit into the second. I can't recall just because I just remember how effective his first half was. But Darren Peterson put up 17 points in the first half against Missouri and then just disappeared because of the injury or just kind of recovery or whatever it may be. But that's how impactful he is. A quick 17 in and out. What if he plays a full game? So to me, that's your balance and that's your efficient offense. Now, defense to me is even more impressive. Their perimeter pressure is one of the biggest things. They are one of the best Big 12 perimeter defenses. They really limit their opponents to three-point effectiveness. And that's a key in this, in this game. This is really a statistical edge that the Kansas Jayhawks must bring in this game because the Wolfpack are so good at shooting the three ball. And that's something they really heavily rely on is shooting that three ball. It's that magical time of the year again. The minute the boxes come out of storage and the first string of lights flickers on, everything just feels brighter. The smell of pine fills the house. The Christmas tree goes up and suddenly you're transforming your home into a full-blown holiday wonderland. Maybe you're climbing the ladder to hang lights on the roof, setting up those larger-than-life yard decorations, or turning the living room into the coziest place on earth. But sometimes the Christmas spirit outgrows the space you're in. Whether you're dreaming of a bigger living room, for the perfect tree, a yard worthy of your holidays display, or simply a home that better fits your seasonal traditions, now might be the ideal time to find your dream home. Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert, passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait. Your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000. Or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next chapter. So if you're ready to make a move that matches your holiday joy, Lisa Miller is here to help you find that place where your Christmas magic can truly come to life. Now, key contributors. Obviously, we know that Flory Badunga, Trey White have contributed consistent scoring, rebounding, and playmaking. We know that Bryson Tiller is a solid rebounder and supports Flory Badunga. We know that Melvin Council Jr. is a drive guy. He has been really driving and drawing fouls and going up to the basket and getting to the stripe and doing effective things and playing solid defense. You got guys like Jamari McDowell, Marco Jackson, and a slew of others that come off the bench and contribute minutes. Jamari McDowell, effective minutes coming off and really playing solid defense. So the defense has been one of the most important pieces. The key contributors, I think you can say there are a select few that are very key contributors, but for the most part, this whole team is going to contribute, and that's kind of how they're designed. Now, Kansas rebounded from a midseason stumble against UConn with an impressive win over Missouri before heading to Raleigh. Veteran coach Bill Self, really experienced upperclassmen with highly touted recruits and transfers, really kind of provided the opportunity to get depth in this. And I think that's going to be where you see a big difference is the fact that we're deeper. We have a lot more capable players. And that's why I believe that this Kansas Jayhawks team will actually come out on top. So now what we're going to talk about is flipping it over to the opponent, and that is the North Carolina State Wolfpack. So they have high output scoring. NC State's offense ranks among the ACC's more potent attacks, shooting a strong percentage from the field. They have a home dominance. The Wolfpack have been tough at home, protecting their court effectively throughout this season. Leaders like Darian Williams and Quadir Copeland provide interior scoring and efficiency, making NC State a difficult defend when they get into rhythm. I think the big thing is recent performance. NC State's roster under Coach Will Wade has shown both promise and volatility, capable of big wins like an 85-45 rout over Liberty, which to me is not an impressive win because they're obviously in the ACC. They're going to play some very challenging teams in the ACC, but that shows that they're capable of doing a domination, but also facing challenges against more consistent opponents. So when they really are faced up against those teams like in the ACC, like a Duke, all these teams, North Carolina, now they're going to be facing Kansas. They're a little bit humbled. They're a little bit brought back down to reality, you could say. So really kind of the tactical contrast. Kansas' defense is oriented. They excels at slowing opponents and forcing tough shots, especially from deep. And we've seen that more recently, where a few teams really kind of rely on the three ball and they've not shot the best. And so I think that's something to pay attention to. Discipline and structure, that's really what Bill Self has built this year in a foundation for his entire roster. They're built on strong rebounding, organized schemes that limit easy transition buckets. But the biggest thing with KU is, I think, the turnovers. We've consistently seen really double-digit turnovers. We've really seen kind of just mental mistakes where they let teams kind of linger in key situations, or maybe they hang around too long instead of just putting them away. So that's something to really pay attention to. And NC State high-variance offense relies heavily on scoring bursts and aggressively scoring in the paint, which is really going to challenge guys like Flory Badunga, Bryson Tiller, potentially Trey White, and whoever really contributes down in the paint. And the biggest thing is NC State is going to have that home court confidence. I think that's one of the biggest factors always in college basketball is home court confidence, home court advantage. So they're going to have comfortable executing in Raleigh's environment, where they boast an unblemished record this season. Obviously, we kind of talked about key players to watch, and Flory Badunga, obviously he's a reliable scorer, big-time rebounder who impacts both ends consistently. Trey White, coming off a strong performance against Missouri, adds scoring versatility and athleticism. And of course, we talked about Darren Peterson, who was limited really in the first half against Missouri and still managed to swipe 17 points, which was absolutely incredible. For NC State, you're looking at Darian Williams, who we talked about. He leads scoring and offers playmaking, especially around the basket. So I would expect, you're really going to see some defensive lockdown from a few guys. And Quadir Copeland, efficient inside scorer and a complementary option. So really two players from NC State to highlight. So what to expect? This game will test Kansas's discipline and depth against NC State's offensive flair and home court comfort. If Kansas can dictate the tempo and defend the perimeter effectively, they'll likely control the game. Conversely, if NC State's offense heats up early and Kansas struggles with turnovers, which we talked about, the Wolfpack could make this a much closer and more unpredictable contest. I really believe Kansas is going to come out on top, even though it's going to be a tough road challenge. I think the way this team has cohesively come together, has learned to play as a team, and is slowly integrating back into this team in Darren Peterson, the best player in college basketball. I think you're really going to see this team come together and not necessarily send a statement again like they did against Missouri, but I really think that they're going to win this game, I would say by 6 points is what I believe. So I think they're going to be able to come out on top. They've had time to rest. And that's going to be the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think the score will be. I could be completely off. I mean, they could be overly rested and go in and be just stagnant and just not shoot well and come out on the losing end. But I just don't anticipate that. I feel like they're building momentum. I think that Missouri game really is going to hype them up. So make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.